In 2016, a father in Venezuela made a claim so disturbing that many people refused to believe it. He said his son didn't just die in prison. He said his son was killed during a prison riot, dismembered, and forced upon other inmates as food. The claim spread across international headlines. But the truth behind it is far more complex, and far more disturbing, than the words alone. Because even today, authorities admit something went terribly wrong inside that prison. What they cannot fully agree on is how far the violence really went. The story centers on a detention facility in San Cristobal, in western Venezuela, a region already strained by food shortages, political unrest, and a collapsing prison system. By 2016, Venezuela's prisons were among the most overcrowded in the world. Facilities built to hold hundreds were housing thousands. Guards were outnumbered. Resources were scarce. And in some prisons, authority had quietly shifted away from the state. Investigations later revealed that in several facilities, guards avoided entering entire cell blocks. Instead, prisoners governed themselves. Power belonged to gangs. And survival depended on allegiance. At the San Cristobal Detention Center, tensions finally exploded. A riot broke out, not over ideology or escape, but over conditions. Food shortages. Overcrowding. Neglect. The unrest stretched on for days. Then weeks. According to officials, the situation deteriorated so badly that normal oversight collapsed. By the time authorities regained partial control, multiple inmates were missing. 2 deaths were later confirmed by officials. But families were told very little. And that silence created space for a much darker narrative to emerge. One father stepped forward publicly. He said his son, a young man jailed on robbery charges, had been taken during the riot. According to the father's account, his son was overpowered by dozens of inmates. What happened next, he claimed, was beyond brutality. He alleged that his son was killed and that parts of his body were consumed by other prisoners, either willingly or under coercion. These claims were later echoed in interviews by other inmates and relatives. But it's critical to say this clearly. These cannibalism allegations were claims, not confirmed forensic findings. Even international outlets stressed caution. Still, the accusations refused to disappear. The story took an even darker turn when a name surfaced. Dorangel Vargas, known in Venezuela as El Comagente, or the People Eater. Vargas was a convicted serial killer and cannibal from the 1990s, infamous for confessing to killing and eating multiple victims. Some reports claimed Vargas was among inmates linked to the riot. Others suggested his reputation alone may have fueled fear and exaggeration. Authorities never confirmed that Vargas committed cannibalism during the 2016 prison unrest. But his past, documented and undisputed, made the allegations impossible to ignore. And for families searching for answers, the distinction between rumor and proof felt meaningless. So what do we know for certain? According to Reuters, Venezuelan authorities confirmed a violent prison disturbance occurred. At least 2 inmates died. An investigation was launched into extreme violence inside the facility. What officials did not confirm was cannibalism. Some government figures suggested the claims may have been exaggerated. Others acknowledged that the chaos inside the prison made full verification difficult. In other words, even the state could not fully account for what happened behind those walls. This story is not just about whether cannibalism occurred. It's about how a prison system can deteriorate to the point where such allegations become believable. When prisons are overcrowded. When food is scarce. When guards stop entering cell blocks. The line between rumor and reality blurs. And families are left with grief, and unanswered questions. As one investigator noted, the most disturbing part wasn't a single accusation. It was how long the system had been failing before anyone intervened. To this day, the father maintains his son was eaten alive. Authorities maintain that while deaths occurred, cannibalism was never proven. Between those two truths lies a prison system so broken that the unthinkable became plausible. And that raises a final question. When institutions collapse this completely, who is left to protect the people trapped inside?